Steve Sullivan here for Makeso Photo Art. I hope you have had a fantastic day. Thought I would post a short video on the curves adjustment layer. This is in Photoshop CS6. This is the free beta trial software. But this adjustment can also be made in Adobe Elements and in Corel's Paint Shop Pro. So I'm going to keep this really simple and show how a basic S-curve can really enhance your photo and really make it pop with a great adjustment to the contrast. It doesn't need to be a complicated process, and we just want to keep it simple. So to start with, I took a snapshot of the curves tool, the graph, and broke it down into its different components just to make this a little easier to follow. So I'm going to start here on the left side at 0, and this is black. Along this graph, going to the right through the shades of gray, we end up at the right side at white, and that's at 255. So this follows the standard histogram from 0 to 255. And as you can see, the histogram that was posted in this graph of the photo shows that I have a lot of pixels that are pushed to the left side. So there's some areas that may be a little underexposed. So with this graph is also cut in half from this left side at black through the image to the upper right side at white. The top half of this graph is the light side. The bottom half of this graph is the dark side. And then this graph is broken down into 3 areas along this line. This bottom one is the shadows area. The middle area is the midtones. And this upper area is the highlights. So that's just a simple view of the curves tool, the graph, and how that's broken down. I'm going to go on to an image that I've uploaded. I've created a smart layer, and I want to make a layer for the curves adjustment. So I'm going to come up here to this graph icon here for curves and click that. It'll put in my layer and open the graph for the curves. So I have my black area on the left going to the right to white. Same thing with the line cutting through my image from black to white. This is the light side. This is the dark side. And then I have the 3 areas that are along this line. This is the shadow area, and the shadow areas will be these areas here between the battery packs, these areas here around the edge, just underneath those caps. That'll be a shadow area. This area here is my midtones. Those areas will be the sleeve, some of this sleeve, some of these rust areas, this orange area, and this area between the terminals here on this battery. Those will be my midtone areas. And then I have the highlight area, and that area will be the top of this cap, maybe this pin, this area of the terminals here, some area here in the cord, and those will be my highlight areas. So to make a simple S-curve, I'm going to start in my shadow area. I'm going to click on that area and drag that down. And as you can see, that shifted my shadow area. It darkened those areas up. And I still have might shift it a little more. So I've darkened my shadows up. I'm going to come up to my highlight area. I'm going to click on the line there, and I'm going to drag this over to the light side. And I'm going to leave that there. So now I've generated a basic, simple S-curve that's really made an impact to my contrast in this image. So I'm pretty happy with that. May have lost a little bit of detail right here. I can go back and adjust this. But one thing that I do want to check before I do that, I'm going to close this. So I'm going to highlight this layer and then click the opacity slider and move that to 0. So this is where I began. I move this all the way to the right at 100%. That's where I ended. I'm going to come back and I'm going to adjust this to about 47%. And so 47% of that layer, my adjustment layer, will be applied to this. So I've recovered some of the detail here in this terminal, and I've retained some of the contrast boosts that I've gotten from my curve. So you can go in there and you can go back and adjust the curve and make some adjustments there. That's fine. Or for me, I can go back to opacity and change how much of that effect is going to be shown through on that layer. So the best way to do this is really to jump in with both feet, experiment with it, and just give it a try and see what happens, and make some adjustments. Don't be afraid to go to extremes. You can experiment, and if you don't like it, you can delete the layer and start over. But you want to create just a simple S-curve, and it really has a nice impact to your image. I use this tool on every image that I develop, and it is just a simple way to really get a nice contrast adjustment for your image. Even ones that are really lacking contrast and are bland, that adjustment can really help that image to pop and bring on some great personality. So I just really encourage you to experiment and give it a try. With that, have a great day and happy shooting.